You think, in fact, we're losing out on the economy. Remember, this is a very touchy issue in this particular country, where there is a notion that betting is spoiling majority of young people. But we still have betting companies, some of them operating, others, their licenses were not renewed. We shall be having also discussions surrounding matters accreditation in Kenya. What does that entail in details later on? But Business Today begins right now. I'm Noah Kipkimboy. We start with the markets. Starting us off is matters babies, as I had earlier told you. The Standard Group Public Liability Company has this morning or today morning launched 2 new radio stations, bringing to 3 the number of radios run by the media group. The stations Spice FM and Vibes FM are expected to take the country by storm, giving audiences an enhanced test of old school and reggae music. The launch brings to 3 the number of radio stations, as I had earlier said, operated under the Standard Group. The 2 new radio stations are expected to tap into the overwhelming success of Radio Maisha. ICT Permanent Secretary Jerome Ochieng officiated the launch.
Spice FM and Vibes FM. The Spice FM and Vibes Radio officially opened.
Makofi! Muziki ni kuburudisha watu, na hizi ni station ya tatu na ya pili na ya tatu. Tuna Radio Maisha ambayo kwa upande wa habari ipo sawa na inaweza kukupa habari kwa utendeti, na zingine hata ambazo tumefanyia utafiti, hata uchunguzi wa ndani investigative tunafanya. Sasa kwenye hizi mbili, kwenye Spice ni kuweza kukuburudisha, na ukisikiza muziki ya aina ya Spice ni ya zamani ya miaka ya 80, 70. Kwa hivyo kukukumbusha siku zile na kukutuliza akili. Kwa hiyo tunachukua upande huo, na upande wa Vibes ni reggae, manake reggae na wafuasi wengi.
Tutakuwa nafikiri number 1 katika mawimbi. Watu wengi wameweza kuwa wakisikiliza Spice na bado tulikuwa hatujaizindua, na bado watu wengi wanaipenda na wanaijua. So mimi nina furaha na tunangoja wakuu wetu waje tufanye the official launch.
Indeed, spicy vibes. Now let's talk matters oil. Kenya is on its way to its first early oil pilot scheme project In the year ending 2022, the project, which is estimated to cost 2 billion shillings, has integrated 30% into the counties and 5% into local communities. With plans underway to construct the power plant to transport the oil, Project Oil Kenya is expected to create over 10,000 jobs. The expenses to be recovered are the cost of setting up the oil drilling machines, rehabilitation of storage tanks, and expensive trucking of the crude that has seen the piling of 200,000 barrels.
Investment decision is targeted for the second half of next year, which is 2020, which therefore is when you can expect that there will be award of any of these contracts. But in the meantime, there's a lot of work that is ongoing. In terms of employment and benefits and supply of goods, there's a distinction between employment for nationals and locals as opposed to provision of goods. So I did say that 2 out of 3 people that you meet out in the field are actually nationals. So that puts us well above 66%. That is in Turkana. If you look at the nationals employed within Talo, we are well over 95% of nationals. Our expat population is extremely small here.
We are exploring in northern Kenya. Between now and full field development, we will have to transport 1.5 million tons of equipment from the port to the site and from the site along the pipeline route, so that we can build all the onshore facilities, so the pump stations and the heating stations.
Now from oil, let's move to another oily issue. We call it betting. 12 members of parliament have strongly condemned the decision by the government to revoke operation licenses of some betting companies led by Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala. The lawmakers say the directives have rendered some Kenyans jobless. They further say taxation of customers' stakes is taxation of capital and represents a violation of the existing law, which only taxes the income tax.
Kenyans need to know, for example, that betting and sport pesa only paid close to 10 billion in taxes in 2018. Taxes from these two industry players formed a big percentage of the taxes collected. The allegations that they have not been paying taxes are baseless and unfounded.
In 2018, Kenya Revenue Authority awarded SportPesa a certificate of award for being the best taxpayer for 3 years in a row. Several months later, we are saying that these taxes that were not received by these companies. So did KRA tell us the truth last year when they said that this betting company was the best taxpayer in this country? Secondly, we need as a country to be consistent in our laws and in our regulations. We cannot claim that a business is legal today and then tomorrow it becomes illegal.
This betting was assisting in provision of employment. Those people who are employed in various betting companies, those people are now jobless. Where will they get jobs? The youths that were using this opportunity to pay fees, where will they get the money from? We know well that the law dictates that there's a rule called Nemo Dat Quote Habed that says that you can never spend what you don't have and you can never pickpocket a naked man. This is a willing buyer, willing seller thing. Let it be known to the cabinet secretary that from next week we are going to mobilize youth in this nation. Gor Mahia funds come out, AFC funds come out. We are going to peacefully demonstrate against you.
You've heard that quote, that you can never pickpocket. Yes, you can finish it up. Now, on June 4th, 2019, the government directed all government agencies involved in cargo clearance to integrate into the single window system run by Kentred. And over the years, it has proved key in streamlining our import and export processes. The single window system was rolled out in 2015 to automate government processes.
You see, today when you import anything into Kenya, you have to pay for IDF, import declaration forms. You have to pay for inspection abroad. That inspection is done on behalf of the Kenya government. Then the same containers arrive in Mombasa and again they're inspected. Where is the logic behind this?
In a quest to smoothen cargo clearance in the country, the government instructed all its agencies involved in cargo clearance to integrate their systems with the single window system by September 2019.
The previous environment we had was that government agencies were all automating systems. What then that means is that the trade community has to engage with multiple government systems. Now, so the concept of the single window, which is not a new concept, it actually started in Singapore 28 years ago, allows then for harmonizing and bringing together all these platforms into one single platform. So applications for documentation is done on one single platform. And that's what now we have achieved. We actually have 36 government agencies operating on this one platform.
To spearhead implementation, Kenya Ports Authority will oversee seaports and internal container depots. Kenya Aviation Authority will oversee international airports, and Kenya Revenue Authority will be on land border points. KenTrade will be responsible for cargo clearance automation.
We have previously had about 24 government agencies at the port doing inspections, verification of cargo. Now the direction is that only 2 government agencies now will remain at the ports of entry. This is a significant movement for Kenya as far as logistics is concerned, mainly because it ties in with best practice internationally.
According to the International Finance Corporation, a sister organization of World Bank, KenTrade has reduced trade compliance cost by 24 billion shillings and enhanced efficiency, productivity, and consistency in operations of government agencies. The African Development Bank is set to review its economic growth projection for Africa of 4% in 2019 and 4.1% in 2020 if global external shocks accelerate. According to the president of the bank, Akinwumi Adesina, the US-China trade war and uncertainty over Brexit pose risks to Africa's economic prospects.
And therefore import demand of China has fallen significantly. The industrial capacity has fallen significantly. And so the demand, even for products and raw materials for Africa, will only fall even further. So the effect of that will have a ripple effect on African economies as the demand for their products weaken from China. The challenge cannot be solved unless all the barriers come down. Free mobility of labor, free mobility of capital, and free mobility of people. This is very, very important for the continental free trade area.
Now let's talk matters milk. Continued drop in milk producer prices over the past few weeks have infuriated dairy farmers who are citing their frustrations to cheap imports from the neighboring country, Uganda. Through the Kenya Dairy Farmers Federation, the farmers said prices have dropped further and that they are currently earning a paltry between 24 shillings and 22 shillings per litre of milk through their cooperative societies, hence facing difficulties in sustaining the industry due to high costs of operation.
Currently, farmers are paid between 22 to 24 shillings a litre because the prices, the processors' prices has come to 28 from 38. We are disappointed as Kenya Dairy Farmers Federation because the producer prices have been reduced, whereas the consumer prices remains constant. what is the logic behind this? We are asking our cooperative societies, because they have legal agreements between the processors and the dairy cooperative societies. We want to urge our dairy farmers to be patient. KDFF is considering legal issues, and we are thinking of making ways to either see the president, or see the deputy president, or see the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, so that we discuss the dairy industry in depth.
Tuko hapa na kilio, ni kama tuko kwa mataga, because tunaona ishara kubwa ya yale yanayotokea kila siku kwa wakulima wa maziwa. Nasema hivi kwa sababu kila uchao tunapata bei ingine, na sio bei ya kuendesha mkulima, ni bei ya kufuja mkulima.
The third country, rather Kenya becomes the third country to launch the Commonwealth Business Women Network Kenya chapter. That is the only accredited membership organization across 5 continents for women economic empowerment. The network brings together 54 countries who are members of the Commonwealth. The network will also create a platform to increase visibility of women in business in Kenya by connecting them to potential markets across the Commonwealth countries.
Specifically issues to do with leadership, issues to do with ending violence against women, and issues to do also with legal frameworks and women.
The Commonwealth Women Business Network in Kenya will be an incredible platform for you to change social perceptions about women entrepreneurs and to build alliances and networks that promote, strengthen, and grow your businesses. However, as you embark on your individual paths, I would like to challenge you on how to reflect on how the positions you hold can make both an economic and a social difference in this country.
Our community involvement in wildlife conservation has been cited as one of the ways of conserving endangered wildlife species. Site Secretary General Yvonne Higuero hailed governments for ensuring that communities are engaged at every step of the way and empowered to make decisions in wildlife management and conservation. Kenya has already set up mechanisms in all entry and exit routes reporting good progress. The special K9 unit at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport has managed to impound and net various consignments coming in and out of the country.
We have a role at the international level, but domestic markets are an issue of the countries themselves, of the parties themselves. I don't go into the various countries and say that they have to shut down their domestic markets. There's resolutions, there's decisions that are referring to doing something at the domestic level related to ivory markets. Now it's up to each government if they wish to do that, and I know that some have already decided that they would not have the domestic markets, ivory markets anymore. Amongst them China, I know that the UK has agreed to that, and others, and that is up to them at the national level to take those kinds of decisions, not up to an international decision under CITES, nor a decision of the Secretary General. That's for the parties to discuss and agree on, not for the Secretary General to take care of.
We heard from perhaps 50 governments, and we heard from perhaps 50 other observer parties, some of which were our local community representatives, I think most of which were local community representatives. We've also seen CITES parties within individual countries increasingly involving those voices in the preparations for these meetings and the development of documents for these meetings. And so I think we are on the right track. We are making strides because we recognize the benefits to conservation as well as the benefits to people.
Okay, and one again pertinent issue in the business world is about dialogue. We rarely speak. That's why KEPSA has partnered, or rather they gave a joint pressure with Trademark East Africa, and they signed a $1.5 million USD financial agreement to support KEPSA's public-private sector dialogue program. This is to make sure that we are having proper dialogues in the business environment. Where there is dialogue, there is progress. And on that particular note, business today. Takes a short break. We'll be right back, of course, with BBC's Money Daily. Later on, also, some very interesting discussions on matters accreditation. Stay tuned.